Ever wonder why bad things happen to good people? Hi, thank you so much for joining me again today. If you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Kemi Udeogu. On this channel, we basically deduce spiritual principles and find out ways on how to apply them into our everyday lives to bring about the sort of life that we truly desire and the sort of life that we ought to be living. So if you haven't subscribed yet, consider hitting on the subscribe button so you can join the family. And if you are already a returning subscriber, thank you so much for doing this again with me today. I do not take your love for granted. Thank you so much for coming back. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about energy. Energy is a word that everybody uses at some point in their lives trying to refer to something. But have we even taken our time to figure out what this thing energy is all about? Like, have we really, paid conscious effort to, or should I say, pay close attention to energy and how it affects us and how it affects our environment and how it affects our life generally. All right, so this video is dedicated to you know to bring to your consciousness this thing called energy so that you'd be more mindful of it and become more protective of your energy and don't dabble yourself into situations that life seems to throw at you. Yeah, so while growing up, we're taught in schools that energy is the ability to do work. That was the simplest way to cut across that definition so that we could, grasp it, with our young minds. But it seems and still remains a very valid definition as far as I'm concerned, because when you're talking about energy, energy is what gives you the ability to perform any task whatsoever, whether big or small. So you find out that when your energy level is high, you tend to get lots of things done. You imagine something or you think about something and you just go right ahead and achieve it. And when the energy level is low for whatever reason, maybe in the case of sickness or for one reason or the other, the person's energy is low, you find out that you can't really do much, even though your mind already has outlined all the tasks for you to do. But to now do it is now a problem. Then in a case where there is no energy, like there is no energy in the body, we are looking at a dead person. So it's safe to actually say that energy, which is vitality, is life. So when there is energy, there is life, and where there is no energy, there is no life. And still talking about work, this thing is true for both living and non-living things. In a situation where something is not in operation, it means that it's dead. Okay, so scientists have gone ahead to tell us so much about energy. They've really you know done a lot of research and let us know that energy has so many forms and it can change form. You can find out that energy is electrical today and tomorrow it's sound, or the next minute it's heat and all that. It just keeps changing in a way to bring some sort of balance in the lives of men or in the lives of humans. Okay, but science has not been able to tell us the source of this energy, and that's where the supernatural actually comes into play. The supernatural actually bridges that gap in knowledge to let us know that energy is from God. Yes, God is the source of energy. Science has not been able to deduce that. They've told us, yes, about they know about this higher being. They know about this thing. They know that energy exists, but they don't know what brought energy into existence. But we, on the other side of conviction, we are not surprised, or we are not in the dark about where energy is from. We know that energy is from God. Looking through the accounts of creation, God made every single thing that we see with sound energy when He said, "Let there be." And then we have. Science called it the Big Bang Theory. So at least you could see this relationship between the two, that sound energy is what brought about creation. Okay? And there's this passage in the Bible where the psalmist was actually wondering about the love of God for man, and he was like, that what is man that you're so mindful of him that you made him a little bit lower than yourself. So it now makes me understand that if God is the source of energy, and he made man a little bit lower than himself, then man is like the highest transmitter or emitter of this thing called energy in creation. So please don't play with yourself. Do not even think less of yourself for a second. You are more powerful than you think. You are more powerful than you can imagine. I mean, if the creator of the universe just made you a little bit lower than yourself, then that means you are a creator yourself, and the first place where creation happens is in your own life. So you have the ability and you have the capability to create in your environment and create in your life the sort of thing that you desire and the sort of thing that you deserve. And I actually say this, in lots of my posts. I always make this statement, and it is true. Whatever you think about yourself, you are right, because you are the creator of your life. God has already given you that power. He has already given you that ability. So whatever you say that you can do, you can do. Whatever you say that you cannot do, you are absolutely correct. So for the purpose of this video, because this concept of energy is a very, very, very broad one, and it's not something that we can just exhaust in one video, but this video is just dedicated to bring into your awareness this thing called energy. And it's just going to be more or less like an expose, like just to expose your thinking, or should I say expose your to bring to your consciousness the reality of this thing, and how much it can affect you and how much it can affect your environment. So as far as human beings are concerned, we will have, like I said earlier on in the video, that energy takes different forms. But as far as the human life, the human mind, that humans are concerned, energy comes in two categories. You have the positive energy and you have the negative energy. And you have the positive energy with its highest frequency at love, gratitude and faith, and the negative energy at its highest in hate, disbelief and fear. Now you find out that through the course of life that you're just interchanging between the positive and the negative, and those frequencies are like magnets, and they keep drawing into your experience things that are in that frequency. So how do you know what you're manifesting in your life? Is through your emotions. Your emotions are more or less like the transmitters, or sorry, the emotions are like the checkers you have to know at what frequency that you're in per time. Now when you're having good feelings, and when you're happy, when there is stuff, when you're happy, let me just use that word, when you're happy, you find out that you are the highest frequency, which is good, which is the positive. And when for whatever reason something happens and you are at your low, you're angry, sad, gloomy, or whatever it is, then this is you knowing that you are operating in negative energy. So why is this important? It's important because the frequency that you are in per time is the magnet or the attraction that brings in like experiences. When you're at a high frequency, when you're at a positive, and that's a high frequency, you tend to attract good experiences more into your life. And life is designed in such a way that you can only control what happens in you and your response system, but you cannot necessarily control what happens, with how people respond to you. Okay, this is now you're the creator of your own life and not any other person's life. Another video actually will be made, to explain that, but for this video, this is just bringing the awareness. Okay, and you find out that there's some situations where you just wake up and you're having a bad day, and for some reason it just keeps getting bad because you're at a low frequency, and that low frequency is also designed to attract things that are within that zone, unless something happens and changes you back to the high frequency. Now let's take for example that you got a credit alert of a huge amount of money. You know that there is this thing that happens with credit alerts, yeah. It just gives this very it gives this feeling, and you're very, very happy, and nothing seems to get you upset. Now in a situation, let's just, let me just use your mind for a bit. You got this credit alert and it's a very huge amount of money. You find out that when your child ruins something, maybe ruins your dress, or something, and you don't tend to react so negatively. Yeah, you'll be like, hey, why did you do this? But you don't tend to react so negatively. Why? Because when you look at your account balance, you can buy that thing. You can buy the dress like over and over again, and it is really not an issue. Now, it's not even about that credit alert, it's because of the zone that you're in at that time. Nothing seems to get you upset except something happens that is higher than that feeling that you're having at that time, that has higher force to now pull you to the other side. Now, in the same vein, in a situation where you're broke, someone is broke, you get, and you find out that maybe your children are arguing in the other room, and it has nothing to do with you. But in the bid to correct them, that frustration, you find out that you're doing so much just to correct them over something very little. Now, it's not even because that they are arguing. The thing is because of the environment that you're in, the zone that you're in is breeding frustration, and every single thing pisses you off, every single thing irritates you. Even when somebody laughs around you when you're upset, it becomes very irritating. It has nothing to do with what is going on in that time, but it has a lot to do with the frequency that you're operating in. Now, this is why it's so important that you don't really base your balance, that's the balance where you ought to be, which is at a high frequency per time. You don't need to base your balance, your peace of mind, on material things and on people. Now, I'm trusting God that over the course of, the over the course of this teaching, or should I say the course of this expose, that you would really make up your mind to harness this power that is within you. The Bible tells us that there is this peace that passes all understanding. It makes me understand that there is a posture in the spirit that makes you really that powerful, that even though life throws at you some things that would tend to alter your balance, you still have that power in you to bring yourself back to where you are. Because whether you accept this truth or not, it does not change the fact that you're at a frequency at every given point in time, and that frequency that you're on has the capacity to attract like experiences into your life. So it borders on you a lot to make sure that you're maintaining a high frequency. And when I was talking about the peace that passes all understanding, it means that it's possible. It's very possible that come what may, whatever that life decides to throw at you, that you can have this composition, or you can have this disposition in you that gives you utter peace. So why is this information really, really important? It's important so that you can be very protective of your mental space, be very protective of who you let into your space, and be very protective of what you let into your space, because your balance determines your life. Where you are per time determines what you have activated to start coming your way. So it is important that you're always mindful of your energy. When you find out that there are some people that whenever they come around you, they drag you down, you have to do everything possible for you to protect yourself. If they are the people that you cannot stay away from, you have to do everything possible to protect yourself from their energy, because if you let their energy affect yours, that is where the problem is. You, like I said earlier on in the video, you cannot control what is going on outside, but you can only control what is going on in you and around you. Okay, you don't control what people do to you, you don't control what people throw at you, but you can only control how you respond to them. And the reason why you respond the way you respond is because you know that you are at a frequency where you're attracting something, and what you're attracting is largely dependent on the kind of energy that you're emitting. So it's important that you consistently mount guard on what and who you allow into your space, because what they do to you and how you respond to what they do to you determines what keeps on happening and what keeps coming at you. So this brings me to the end of this particular video. I would love to hear your thoughts and what you think about this. It will help me know where to actually start channeling the rest, the coming videos, talking about this particular thing called energy, because it's a very broad topic and cannot really be exhausted at once. So let me know what you think in the comment section, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and do me a favor by also sharing this with family and friends so that they can also come to the awareness of this thing called energy. To have yourself a lovely day. Bye bye.